Welcome to Start With a Win, where we give you the tools and lessons you need to create business and personal success. Are you ready? Let's do this.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, home of RE/MAX World Headquarters. It's Adam Contos, CEO of RE/MAX, with Start With a Win. Producer Mark, we had some good dancing going on there, buddy. I should have done the book dance.
You should have done the book dance. The Start With a Win book.
We'll do the book dance on another show here.
That's right. So, and I'm excited for our guest.
Yeah, me too. I'll tell you what. I have followed our friend here, Patty McCord, for several years. I've seen her speak on big stages all over the place, and she has such an amazing personality and amazing story, which really has led her. That's why she was the chief talent officer at Netflix for 14 years. She's also the co-creator of the Netflix Culture Deck, which so many of us in business have utilized. Patty, welcome to the show. It's great to see you, and thanks for dancing with us.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. Dancing's always a good thing in the middle of the day.
I love it. It just gets you kind of, frees you up, gets the blood flowing.
Don't
makes
you miss
happy.
it? I miss dancing.
Yeah. Let's dig into this, Patty. We've seen a lot of change in the workplace since, call it February, March of 2020 when COVID blew up. So just give me a flyover. How do you see these things? Obviously, they've massively impacted so many company cultures. They've reinforced a lot also. But what changes have you seen that you liked and that you didn't like? You
mentioned that you've seen me speak at big audiences. And whenever I do that all over the world, afterwards, people kind of come up behind and they either come for a book signer and they come up to talk to me and they say, "Oh, what you're saying makes so much sense. It's so logical. It just is a breath of fresh air. You're a guru, blah, 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 blah. I wish I could be like you, but I can't because we're regulated. I can't because we have unions. I can't because we're not in tech. We can't because we're not in America. We can't because, but we would, but we can't, right? And, we can't work from home. We can't work remotely. We can't do, we can't have meetings that aren't, we can't do any of that stuff." In 48 hours, we did it.
I love
Everybody did, right? And so now, and I was going to give up. I mean, I was like, I'm retired. This has been enough. It's been 10 years since I've been at Netflix. Everybody who needs to hear my message has heard it. But I have a new audience now where I could say, "Oh, really? Yes, you can." And you always could. That muscle was always there. You just chose not to use it. So, I'm spending a lot of time with people now going, I don't want anything less than going, like the term, the new normal is like, isn't that an oxymoron?
Right.
Like it's new or it's not. So let's not do normal anymore because we don't have to. And if you've found that in the last year and a half that you haven't got to those things that seemed really important before the pandemic, don't ever get to them. They didn't matter anyway, right? So you said in your introduction that I'm this guru, or I'm this HR expert, blah, 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 blah. I was just talking to somebody earlier. It's like, you're so innovative and you've done so many things differently. And you know what the truth is? I didn't innovate anything. I didn't invent anything new. What I did that was innovative was I stopped doing stupid stuff that doesn't matter. I talked to a woman a couple of weeks ago who was the VP of sales at a Fortune 100 company, right? Big organization, lots and lots of salespeople. And she said, she came up through the ranks. She's super, well-regarded, paid extraordinarily well, blah, blah, blah. So she said right before the pandemic, she had been working with the team, putting together a competency matrix for what made a great salespeople in her organization. And they had things like commands the room, closes the deal, aggressively pursues excellence. It was to all these type A personalities, right? She's like, has charisma, makes a statement. And she said the pandemic happened and all of a sudden her best performers based on their sales were the listeners. right? Were the people who didn't call up and go, have I got the solution for you? They said, tell me what's going on.
Yep.
Right.
They cared.
And it was, she said, I would have never, ever in a million years predicted that. Ever, ever, ever. She's like, it's made me rethink everything. And that, I've been overlooking in my own Salesforce skills that are right in front of me all this time.
That's a great point. And let me flip that to kind of the HR angle also, to employees or team members or something like that. Taking sales out of this, because it should be the same thing. It's a partnership and it's a mutual caring here. But it's fascinating when the pandemic hit. I mean, we closed our doors March 13th, 2020, just remote 100% that day. And we were prepared for it. We had already given everybody laptops and all the rest of that stuff, prepared to be remote. But the questions had to be different because everybody was worried about cash flow and everything, obviously. But instead of calling people up going, hey, what does your productivity look like today, to talk to the employees? Because managers were never taught how to manage remotely. Right. The question that we had to twist that to was just call everybody you work with and say, hey, Patty, it's Adam. I just want to see how you're doing. Is everything okay?
To be fair, most managers weren't taught how to manage in person.
Okay, let's say that the pandemic disappears tomorrow. We know it's not going to happen, but let's pretend it does. Okay.
Yeah. That's a nice thought.
What about exactly? But that aside, what of those skills that we've just experienced do you think? I mean, we're going to have some discipline and keep those, because we've been doing them for a short period of time, and there are some people that are like, I can't wait to get back to the way it was before. I don't think we're going back to the way it was.
Yeah, well,
before.
they're going to lose out. I think that I know that people really love flexibility. And I think that what the pandemic has given to us is a really clear view into effective flexibility. So there's a couple of things. One of them is we're paying a lot more attention to results than effort, because we can't watch everybody doing everything all the time. We have to trust you when you say you're going to deliver on Friday, that you do. And hey, by the way, guess what? 9 times out of 10, you do. You always did. We could have trusted you from the get-go. Who knew? Most of my career has been working in tech and working with introverts and engineers, right? And different people need different things at different times, right? A lot of them work best when it's quiet and they're alone and there's no disruptions. Some people work best with music in the background and not the sound of other people. Some people have to be able to pop up and go, did you hear that? Did you see that? Right? So I think one of the things that we should learn from this is, again, to be able to accommodate different ways of working and pay attention to what's getting done, not even productivity. Accomplishments and deliverables and learning. The most important thing, I just said it earlier, but I want to say it again, is that we can trust each other.
This has been just a fantastic conversation more than anything. Patty, I do have a question that I ask every one of our amazing guests on the show, and that is, how do you start your day with a win?
I have a koi pond. There's a bunch of fish that swim around out there, and I also have a dog. My cute little adorable dog wakes me up in the morning and reminds me that we've got to feed the fish. Rain or shine, it's critically important that you get up and get ready to go feed the fish. So she takes me outside, she jumps up into the fish food container, she runs over to the fish, she runs back, she looks at the fish and looks at me like, they might die, Mom. And we sit outside and we feed the fish and talk to the fish. And it's just this little moment of contemplation for me to be outside with my non-human friends.
I love that. Feed the fish, everybody.
That's right.
Patty McCord, former Chief Talent Officer at Netflix, author of Powerful, and just a great human being. Thank you for being on Start With a Win, and thanks for sharing conversation with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for listening to Start With a Win. If you'd like to ask Adam a question or tell us your Start With a Win story, give us a call, leave us a message at 888-581-4430. So go to startwithawin.com. Until next time, start with a win. Right. Now.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Patty, so we're here on YouTube. This is the after show after the main party. And I'm kind of curious what your first job was. Someone who's been working for a while and leading people in their work. What was your first job?
The other job I had was I worked at a lumber mill when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
And it was unbelievable, back-breaking work. So I asked them to put me outside because it made me crazy just to stand there all day. So
watch the clock.
I go outside and the boards are like 20 feet long, and I can't take them off of this thing because this is raw lumber. I weigh 130 pounds or something back in those days, and I couldn't do it. So I thought, shoot, how will I do? Oh, I'll use leverage. I'll move the board halfway through and flip it so I can put it on the pile. And the guy next to me goes, "Hell, Patty McCord, I've been working this green chain here for 5 years. I never thought about flipping them in the middle of it."
Work smarter, not harder.
Oh, God. Oh, God. But I could do it, So that very early in my career was the really good lesson was I could do what a man could do. I just had to be smarter.
Thanks so much for being on Start With a Win, hanging out with Adam and I, and I wish you just all the best and peace and success. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure if you hit that thumbs up button, that'll notify the world that you enjoyed this. Also hit subscribe and that little bell icon so you get notified every single time we release a new episode. So until next time, we'll see you when we see you.